Alright, hello everybody, welcome to Za TV with your host Faiz or Mirdza, whatever you want to call me. And today we have our guest Sathish right here. And today we'll be talking about, I think it's something that's closer to our hearts, which is, well, let me elaborate before I say anything. So every country in the world, they have their own specific cultures and languages, and us Malaysians are no different. So today we'll be talking about Malaysian culture. So, Sathish, I want to ask you this question though. So, in your view, what's the definition of a Malaysian culture?
Malaysian culture, I will say the one thing that really differentiates Malaysia from other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries, is the fact that of the multiracial, the number of races that we have in this country, race, religion and everything, and the fact that we can actually live in quite like a harmonious kind of a way for how many years already, from like 60 plus years.
Quite a long time actually.
It's quite a long time, yeah. So yeah, and also the fact that there's all sorts of things. I mean, when tourists come to Malaysia, the one thing that they really look forward to, because it's not like we have one of the best beaches or one of the best buildings or anything like that. The thing is that the food, the culture and everything, it's not like you can find that in any other country. Well, I will say not as good as this country. Yeah, but
I mean, Singapore people will beg to differ, so
yeah, I mean, but those guys come to our country for food. I mean, they have the same number of races as well. I mean, like all sorts of things, but I think you can't beat our food.
I mean, I don't know about their holidays there, but one thing they can beat is that kita orang banyak cuti lah in Malaysia. Kind of, you think about it, every time, whether it's Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, Deepavali, even Christmas. So it's like woo, and even most of the time pun orang yang daripada foreign country, when they come to our country, especially the ones yang macam exchange student ke apa, and they are very surprised macam like how come we have that long of a holiday, but we appreciate our holiday.
Yeah. I mean, what's harm? More holidays, more fun. But yeah, those guys, they will always. There's a lot of things that they miss about Malaysia and they feel jealous about Malaysia, like what you say, holidays, food, and also the fact that we are a huge country compared to them. But yeah, of course, at the end of the day, that's one thing that would always back down and they'll back up with themselves, is like they are better in economies. Singapore dollar, like recently, was just rise.
Well, that might be true lah, but at least kita boleh makan chewing gum lah. So they can't say that about us stuff, you know. Actually, speaking of that, macam like, you know, sometimes in our country, you know what really unites us the most is every time when we tengok bola. There's always been that one thing. It doesn't matter lah whether it's like Liverpool or Chelsea atau even our Malaysian national team tengah lawan. It's always nice to see everyone come together in a mamak stall and then everyone just like chill and just enjoy semua tu.
Yeah. I mean, people defend their football clubs like it's like family, you know. So like if you mess with their football club, you're messing with family. And actually, to be honest with you, right, like it's one thing like I really love about Malaysia is that we're not that good in football or anything. Like I would really say that comparative to how, you know, England is and all that, but we love that game the most. Like I mean, we are good in badminton. Like, you know, Lee Chong Wei was like, people know Malaysia about Lee Chong Wei badminton and all that, right? But if you go around the streets and ask like, what's your hobby and all that, most of them won't say badminton or anything. The first thing that comes in football.
Well, that depends on who you talk to as well.
Okay, that's true. Like, if I ask my peers and all that, most of them will be saying it's football. But yeah, I mean, the love we have for football is bola is like hidup lah. Bola hidup, man.
No, I can't speak for everyone, but I remember at that one time when I was hanging out with my friends, and I remember there was this one dude who doesn't watch football, and this one weird thing that everybody says like, bro, you Malay, takkan you tak tengok bola? Does that happen in the Indian society?
Yeah, actually. It's true actually, because like actually, to be honest with you, I rarely see an Indian. I mean, I know any Indians who like don't watch football or anything. But I suppose like hockey lah. It's either football or hockey, I will say, for Indians and all that. And then there's also the fact that if one doesn't watch sport, I mean, if you don't watch sport and all that, like I don't think it's going to bother you anything. But if they have an interest in sport, I think football is definitely will be there.
No, that's also one thing that actually got us all united. No pun intended lah. But you know, macam like I remember like I think when I first met you, the first thing that kita tanya lah, bro, which football team you support kan? And dia kata bola sepak is the same as people isap rokok. You nampak orang dengan batang rokok tu, you rasa macam jom, and then tiba-tiba dia become kawan.
Betul.
I tak tahu ada luar negara they have that thing, tapi in Malaysia ramai juga lah yang I kenal yang.
Tapi asalkan yang team yang support tu sama lah. Kalau team dia lain sikit, dia masalah sikit lah.
Melainkan when it's Malaysia lawan team lain, that time tu semua tiba-tiba
united lah. Tak kira lah Liverpool ke MU ke, it's like everyone is just united. But that's the thing, like football unites us in like we can be enemies with someone, but when it's like Malaysia against like Indonesia or anything, it's like
we are together.
Until the end.
Until the end, dude. Macam masa tu, I think back in 2000, I can't remember when was it, tapi it was in the Olympics where Chong Wei finally beat Lindan dekat semi-finals.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go to any mamak stall kan, you tengok ramai gila manusia, and some of them I can bet you that diorang pun tak pernah tiap badminton like religiously. But when Chong Wei beat that Lindan tu, everybody was going berserk. I don't care what race you are, what religion, what your beliefs are, semua tu kan. Everybody was. I was hugging some random stranger next to me. I don't even know dia siapa tau.
The vibes that time was like unbelievable, and also the fact that if Lee Chong Wei actually had won against when we went to the final and won the cup and all that, we would have gotten a holiday, so people were all rooting for that as well.
I mean like pride satu benda lah, tapi cuti is another
thing. Cuti is
like, not enough cuti in Malaysia. Tak cukup. Kita nak lebih.
So the fact that we won something or we win something is like that's secondary tau. Yang primary ialah cuti tu dapat.
Tak, yang payahnya ialah because I think in Malaysia it's normal where orang macam nak minta cuti susah, and they also kena buat minta cuti in advance. So to make that prediction tu macam very like
Betul. Yeah. It's quite yeah.
But then I think there's one thing in Malaysian culture that I don't know whether other countries are doing it as well, tapi macam, have you ever been in this situation waktu you kecil dulu, you main bola kaki ayam je?
Oh, nah.
Pernah kan?
Nah. Kaki ayam pasal main dengan botol.
Botol atau
air.
slipper.
Oh, slipper. Yeah.
Tepi-tepi and then everyone start playing semua tu kan?
Yeah. Sebab sebelum tu, like, you cannot afford any football, you go to the shop and afford a ball or something, right? So we will just make do with anything. Sometimes remember tin?
Tin ada?
Pegang tin tu, we act as a ball. But yeah, that's my point, like we can anything to do with football, we just go all out with it. Like we can be so creative when it comes to that, but kalau benda lain semua cikgu semua akan macam asal kau tak kreatif sangat macam ni, tapi pasal bola boleh like do anything it takes.
No, I think kat sekolah dulu there were so many karenah that we all do. Macam for example kan, ingat tak dulu waktu zaman sekolah kita ada that rubber band yang kita tie, lepas tu dia jadi macam pistol.
Oh my god, that thing hurts, man.
Tapi mana dia orang dapat ingenuity tu?
Exactly.
Macam it's like blow my mind tau.
That small thing, but they can do so many things with that small thing. And as long as it's fun and everything, like the creativity will just come. Like masih ingat tak yang Batman punya shape tu semua?
Tahu.
And that comes like randomly, like nobody teaches them anything. Just like buat tengok member buat macam tu, like macam tu and then that's it lah. From there onwards, their creativity starts.
No, but that's the thing tau. How are we not technically advanced by now kan? Macam pelik.
Because it's not something where we can hurt someone or anything. Like macam pistol tu asalkan boleh
sampai lah.
Boleh sampai tu lah cukup.
Tapi speaking of like Malaysian culture, I think it all derived waktu kita kecil. Because I think zaman waktu kita sekolah rendah lagi tu, that was I think the fun time, because tu macam sort of like kalau budak ni, let's say like someone who is from a foreign country kan, and they decide to move here, I think the best way for you to introduce the child to the Malaysian culture is bring them in waktu sekolah rendah and blend in with the Malaysians.
Yeah. So like kebangsaan school and all that, like so that they can actually know and look at how it works. I mean, like it all starts with the kids, right? Like if the kids are showing such a positive attitude and all that resembles like what Malaysia is all about. So yeah, actually I agree with you, and especially the fact that all the activities that the school does, like after school or like Modernising Malaysian or anything, all those things, I mean provided you attend all those things lah. If you skip juga nak pergi dating nak awet semua tu masa tu, then memang you cannot share.
Tidur lah kot kat rumah kan.
Mungkin masa tu tidur lah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean all those things, it's a very very good platform to like introduce about Malaysia when you go to school.
And also you get to expose different cultures as well lah. So I remember back then in my class, so waktu zaman sekolah menengah, and I think Joe Flizzo pun pernah share the same story. I might be wrong about this, but this is my time during at sekolah ta. So I have this one friend of mine, he was Indian, so he macam selalu pukul. He was a traditional drum player kan.
Yep.
I forgot what was the name, but he pernah beritahu I the name of the instrument. So he always ketuk
Tabla ke?
I think
Tabla. Yeah.
So dia selalu ketuk dekat meja, and then there will be some people of us tiba-tiba freestyle kat tepi. Main rap semua tu.
Yeah. Oh, speaking about that, right? To be honest with you, that really came naturally, you know. Benda tu memang natural. Sebab it's not like, even I didn't play tabla in my entire life or anything, but when I came to school, when the music was coming right, I also immediately went. But I was like, at one point when I went back home, I was like thinking like, how did I actually thought about that lah? And the worst part is, I continued at the house, so you know, like myself kat dapur semua kan, meja tu semua aku ketuk. Then my dad was like, sejak bila kau nak pukul-pukul, like sejak bila you tahu like how to play tabla and this and that. I was like, I also don't know. It's just
the rhythm.
It's just the rhythm maybe lah. I think it's an Indian thing where it's like you hear the noise and you go along with it.
No, there's a difference tau. Waktu kat sekolah you say Indian guy kat tepi, main tu it's sedap tau. Even like a rusty table, it was sedap. And then you see some budak yang tak betul sikit, dia mungkin hentak-hentak je lah kot kan.
Yeah.
Itu bukan music, itu annoying.
Yeah.
No, but that's the best part. I think macam like when you go to sekolah menengah, and I think for me that's the advantage that you have if you go to like a normal public school, is that you get to see everything and everyone in their most natural form. You know what I mean? Like sebab waktu sekolah menengah tu, I think after you're done with school, you're basically some of us were like yourself, study kat luar negara semua tu, so you exposed to new culture semua, you came back semua tu, and it's kind of like, it's a good change, tapi macam like how it was back then tu, macam you know, when we grew up we always say to ourselves, it's not like the old days.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, when I went to UK, the first few months and everything was like new environment and everything was like a bit like interesting because like something new and all that, but towards the end, if it was not for my Malaysian friends, I wouldn't have felt like be comfortable. So at the end of the day, I was still looking for a Malaysian kind of a thing, you know. It's like, I suppose some people they won't have this thing, but I missed Malaysia a lot when I was there. So I suppose my Malaysian friends and all that really helped me a lot. And it's never like home lah. It's never like home.
How was the food like compared to the time when you were in dekat study dulu?
Study like, okay, for example, like bila kita masa kecil semua yang we like sausage or like breakfast, you know, this breakfast best gila kan, like semua like masal tu like you like want to have all the best things and all that. So when you went there, you have the opportunity. I had the opportunity to have all those food, but after a month it's like meh. Tak ada rasa lah. Tak ada MSG. MSG tu tak ada. So we like got so used to, I mean, that's my point again, you know, like Malaysian, we have so many types of culture and everything, like so many types of race and everything. So the food is like variety, you know.
Dia ada banyak blend juga kan.
Like, I mean, fusion, yeah. So like those guys over there, it's more about like and the fact that our food derives a lot about rice, and those guys are more like bread and everything. So like Western negara barat, but it's also still tasty lah. I'm not all my Western friends and all that. Please don't like say what our food sucks, is it?
We have good intentions here.
Yeah. I'm trying to promote Malaysian food, you know, in a way. But yeah, it was food lah. I think food was one of the things that I really missed a lot. And I mean, it's not like it's very cheap or what there, you know, when you go into UK and eat Malaysian food and all that. I mean, like one plate nasi lemak RM20 macam tu.
Oh wow, that's
bila you convert lah, bila you convert kan. Tapi kat sini RM1, so like
no, tidak lah. Tapi I rasa macam like the originality of the taste lah. I don't know why, tapi macam like whenever we go to holidays dekat luar negara and we try to make balik makanan tu, I think
it's not the same at all, right?
Yeah. It's pelik when you makan nasi lemak, all of a sudden your first view is one Mak Saleh kan. So it's like
it's like tak ngam lah.
Unless you live in Mongkiara lah.
Wait. My Mongkiara friends.
Shout out to Mongkiara people. Kalau ada orang yang dengar.
Kalau ada orang dengar lah.
But one thing I like the most macam like being a part of the Malaysian culture kan is okay, the food is something like cannot be debate macam I think macam if anyone wants to say other countries is better, that have better food than us, we get mad.
Yeah, we get mad. It's something that triggers us a lot, right? Especially our Singapore neighbours and all that, when they claim like our food is better and all that, like what is it better?
To my surprise kan, macam I remember there was like ada some YouTubers, diorang beli makanan dekat Singapore, and dia kata Singapore has the best satay, kway teow, and so on and so forth. No disrespect to my Singaporean friends as well, you know, we love you. It's just that we are like siblings, you know, like how we always fight for the most pettiest things.
Yeah, exactly.
But for someone like who's a Malaysian, would you think that there's a difference between Singaporean punya culture and Malaysian punya culture?
I think it all changed a lot also, like the culture changed a lot also when Singapore decided to come out of Malaysia. Remember like back in history and all that, like they like the culture of Malaysia stick to it, like our history still stick to it in a sense, but Singapore, they try to like modernize their country a bit, which is a good way still. I mean, so a lot of differences is, I will say, like they're a bit modern, they're a bit more modern than us, where we tend to keep our traditionals a lot. Like you see our home and everything is like a bit stick to how the olden day style, the and all that. The roots, we kind of like never forget our roots. Malaysian, I mean Singapore buddies, stick to your roots. But I would say the culture is more like, boleh kata macam negara barat lah kat sana kan.
Which is odd because like the demographics with their country and us is more or less the same.
Exactly,
people,
yeah. It's more or less the same people,
yeah.
Like I mean, like even for example, like the Malays and Indians and Chinese in Singapore and all that, when they come to Malaysia, they feel like they are superior or something like that sometimes. But
not all.
Yeah,
I want to clarify, not all.
But I mean, like you guys are like we're like the same. We were like one family back then, but you guys think like, you know. So I mean, yeah. So I will say that it's a bit like westernized already lah. Right? It's a westernized already. And we tend to be like stick to our roots. Yeah.
And at the same time, pun, it's kind of confusing when we go abroad and then we see someone yang macam what we thought were Malaysians. Hey, and then they come to us, where are you from? Singapore. Macam like we love you, tapi like we wish you were from the same land.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah.
But Singaporeans are very nice people as well.
Yeah, very
love
nice.
them.
We love them.
So, for you, like, what sticks out the most other than like just food? In the Malaysian culture, what would you think that is the main like sort of like the branch that you think that is the most important part about being a Malaysian?
All the festivals, that we have, you know, like I mean, the three main race, like our Malays, our Chinese, and our Indians. Each of them have their own things, you know, like Hari Raya, Tahun Baru Cina, Thaipusam, Deepavali. Like I mean Thaipusam also. Like there's so many tourists that comes to Thaipusam for Batu Caves and all that, because it's like something new to them. You know, the fact that they do all sorts of things to go up to the staircase, and it's like such a long journey.
Have you been there before?
Yeah.
How's the flights of stairs?
Oh, it's the thing is, right, you have to go really slow. So sometimes some people, like I mean for me, I mean I would like to like just sprint and then just get on with it, you know. But you have to like go with the traffic, so you have to go slow. So it's a bit tiring as well. And it's still a very pleasant kind of thing, because after you've already finished and like doing your vows and everything, right, you feel accomplished in a way. Yeah, so it's like every year I do it with my family.
And it's also one of the most beautiful landmarks in Malaysia as well.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone who ever come to Malaysia, like if you're going to the capital city and you have to at least go to Batu Caves semua juga.
Yeah, betul. Yeah, it's one of the best tourist place lah, I would say. Yeah.
Because it's massive, and it's right next to a very beautiful cave juga tau. You see the aesthetics, it looks nice.
Exactly. It's like when you see everything building the structure and all that, then suddenly you entering like a forest like that, you know. So it's like a mixture there. So yeah, I mean it's one of the main things I think tour guides and all that will say, like you have to come to this place and this and that. So I think a lot of people enjoyed about it, and also like the fact that the pigeons, the monkeys, and everything. So it's like it has everything there.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I love about being in Malaysia lah. But if you go to the pusat bandaraya juga in KLCC, you will notice that macam we have more trees as well. So macam it's like a blend of two different eras, the modern ones and the ones that are before us. So
yeah, it's not like very dull, like boring, just city and all that. It's like a mixture, you know.
Yeah. It's like you know, like New York, they call themselves the jungle city, but for us it's like literally like
Well, we are the jungle city.
We are the jungle city. This is the rainforest era, tau. Oh man. Tapi macam like for you, and what's the most memorable moments that you ever had, like
as a Malaysian,
yeah.
Most memorable moment, I would say,
like you think that you can never take that away. You think that macam that is by far the most crucial memory. Like let's say we have like a chip in our brain, kan?
Yeah.
You would store that betul-betul, like you never remove that. What would it be?
I think my schooling days, with my schooling days in Malaysia, I think like until now, sometimes like, you know, when you're sleeping and sometimes you'd like go like memory lane or something like that.
Lane,
yeah, something like that, right? So like I mean I will tend to think about my time at school, like I miss my buddies at school and all that, because that, I mean, now that I'm working and everything, like, but I don't have that much of engagement compared like how I was back in school. Like literally in school, it's like you mix around with your Malay friends, you mix around with your Chinese friends, you mix around with your Punjabi friends or anything, and like every day you get to see them and you get to mix with your friends and all that. So school memory is one of the best things for me. From primary school up to secondary school, I miss a lot of that. Like I didn't get that back, like how I was in college or now and everything. But yeah, schooling time was the best. So like, yeah, I'll say that.
I think I would agree with that juga lah, because I remember back in the days, when you play different sports, it's like macam like if you want to be friends with someone, you have to go to the sports that macam which dominant race will play. So for example lah, like if you go play football, it'll be a bunch of like Malays and Indians. Badminton memang the Chinese will rule it lah.
Basketball also lah.
Basketball also they are superbly fast.
We want to like even like enter the court, right? We'll be like, I don't think it's the best thing to do because you guys are just so professional,
super fast, and they're technical. I don't know what they do, but their techniques are very on the spot lah.
Yeah.
And then when you see some of us, macam when we are very horrible at all these games, we go to one spot that I think surprisingly got all of us together. And I don't know if this happened to your school, but back in my school, semua kaki bangku come play badminton semua tu, we end up playing kabaddi.
Oh, in my school it was rounders. It's like the
baseball
kan? Yeah, betul. So yang tu memang like from everywhere lah, but it's true lah, like exactly like what you say, like foot when it comes to PJK time.
We don't know what spot you want to go for.
Yeah, we don't know what spot. So cikgu PJK pun macam okay, tak apalah, bagi bola sepak, bagi bola keranjang, settle, semua dah happy.
Tak, segregation ni nampak dah.
And nobody debates that,
Nobody.
Everyone is just
macam like understood and ciao.
Ciao, exactly.
That's why you have to give options in school tau. Ni tips untuk PJK punya cikgu masa depan lah.
Yeah, betul.
If you don't know what to do with your kids kan, bagi 2 bola, keranjang atau bola sepak. They will choose.
And then for the girls, bola jaring.
No, so sometimes bola jaring. I can't really speak because I don't.
But I mean, all my female friends and all, they were also happy with that.
Bola jaring
but but the one activity I suppose that everyone kind of like tak nak buat lah is that jogging,
Oh yeah.
Lepas tu berpeluh semua. Like I mean, football we play also, we don't really like.
No, but we love it, so we don't care.
Yeah, exactly. But this is just.
Tak, yang paling teruk, I think nowadays, I don't know whether they change the syllabus, but for some of my friends who had their experience, the ones who are younger than me can, according to them, and this might not apply to all schools dia orang ada macam dia punya own system in PJK to make it more macam structured. So ada yang satu kelas dia orang buat Zumba.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
So let's say if you go back in those times kan.
Yeah.
Would you join the Zumba class ke?
Kalau ada bola sepak, no lah. Sorry lah.
I remember dulu waktu sekolah lah, and I don't know if you this might come off as a bit of a surprise to the audience that are listening, and especially the ones who can view. For those yang tak pernah nampak just hear us on just like voice recordings, just so you know, I ni botak tau. But back in the day when I had hair, we used to have I think Gatsby warna pink to sort of style up our hair. Once you have some either Gatsby, chewing gum or deodorant, you best believe lah, semua akan come to you on that day.
Yeah, understand. Yeah. That was like the cliche cool kind of a thing lah, right? Yeah, understand. Tapi chewing gum tu must lah, kan? Ada style tu.
I don't know how like when you cakap, orang akan ignore you, but when you ada chewing gum, somehow dia macam a calling tau. Semua tiba-tiba and it's annoying gak lah, tiba-tiba like jadi peacemaker semua tu.
Correct.
I think back then my favourite gum was the 5 gum.
The 5 gum.
Remember the 5 gum? Dia macam like, it looks like a very professional punya gum. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah. Actually, no, I don't remember that. But the chewing gum that I will always take is the one, the green color one. Remember the one like 7-Eleven tu ada.
What was it called?
Yeah, nama tu like the shape and all that I remember, but nama tu yang tak ni lah. I mean, like how many times I've been buying that chewing gum and I can't remember the name.
The thing is, I did tu tau. Dulu macam selalu beli, tapi for some reason tak tahu apa nama dia.
Siapa kisah pasal nama kan? Yang pasal nak
janji
ambil
ada.
Janji ada.
Tapi jangan ambil yang ada cockroach tu.
Jangan.
That one remember tak that time yang when we were kids, dia that tau dia macam electricity. Yeah. And we got that from a makcik tepi kedai yang dia jual those ice cream Malaysia yang dia potong tu.
Yeah, correct.
Somehow they always manage to buy all this stuff, which is kind of cool lah. But itulah, to be honest, now that we're a bit, I wouldn't say I'm old. I'm still 26 yesterday. So it felt weird, macam like when you see other kids these days. And I don't know about, personally, this is just based on what I see. So like macam all the things that we all used to do waktu kita kecil kan. My worry is this new generation of like youngsters kan, they may or may not do the same things that we did though. Now, in your perspective kan, let's say macam like, because we're becoming a bit more modernized than we are many years ago, do you think would it affect the Malaysian way of life, so to speak, in the coming future?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I do think that it will affect, because the engagement that youngsters now have, right, is not like how we used to have it. For example, right, like when in our free time, masa petang semua kan, the first thing that we do is keluar main bola or keluar and do anything else. But tapi kids right now, right, I'm not saying that we the adult generation a bit like don't do that. I mean, we also play video games or anything, but we look forward for all those things, where we go out and have fun with our friends.
Right, yeah.
But nowadays it's more like they have the engagement online, like playing PUBG or anything that is all mostly indoors. So I think that's a bit of a downside, because it's very, very different, right? Like when we go out and have fun with friends and all that, it's like the journey that we go to the Padang or anything, that itself is like some very, very good memories and all that. And then the journey back when we are tired and everything, then we stop by for like minum or anything, like have some mama shop and this and that. But nowadays it's actually worse, because they actually bring their gadgets to mama shop and also continue and playing there. So it's like they are more communicating with the gadgets than instead of themselves and all that. So I think they are missing out a lot. They're missing out a lot. I hope that maybe we can change that a bit. Like we can tell them like maybe do some more activities. School can do more activities and all that. But yeah, it's quite sad.
It's different at the same time, because we're accustomed to certain things, but do you think there's a middle ground that we all can like agree on, like the new generations, and probably we're not, I wouldn't call us the older old generation, but the older side of the generation. Do you think there's a middle ground that we can all agree on?
It really depends on the person, right? Like if like some people they tend to think like all this is like not so into their interests, and some people will think like benda ni semua tak berfaedah kan. But if they share the same thoughts about this, like it's something that's really beneficial, or like it's like as long both of these generation, they can like understand each other, and they can express their views that this is how it is and all that. Maybe there'll be a middle ground there also. I suppose.
But do you think like these days it's in terms of unification between every Malaysian, do you think it has been improving, or is it has been a bit down, or is it just like that?
I feel it's like that, right?
Just like that, I don't.
I don't.
There's not much of a difference.
There's not much of a difference, exactly.
This is great, man. To be honest, macam I think one thing I realized when we talk about Malaysian culture kan, we bring up so much about football lah.
At the end
it's
of the
like we
day,
can't stress that out too much. Macam bola.
Sebab kita punya like our interest is that, right? So I suppose
yes.
people have different interests and all that, they will talk about something else. But yeah, like I mean, we can go on and on about Malaysian culture.
We can, food, culture, and especially these days where everybody's sort of like dressing up to a different race punya macam customs. You know what I mean?
Yep, understand.
And I find that very cool kat lah. You know,
like
see,
when I wear baju Melayu and all that, right? And then when you wear baju, like what the Chinese baju and all Indian and jippa and all that. Yeah, that's cool. And also the fact that right now things are getting a bit like we are trying to go back to how things were before COVID.
Yeah.
So it's like everything that's happening online, everything we feel like it's like, oh wow, we are so happy about it, because time was tough, right? During
it was
COVID.
tough. It was horrible. It was horrible.
It wasn't the same. Like Raya 2 tahun tak ni kan, Raya like we now balik kampung and this and that. Like people were going back hometown and this and that. So like the fact that people have like, but this is the time they can actually go back to their hometowns and everything and celebrate. It's like we feel like, wow, this is fine. This is like normal already.
It's normal, but at the same time, to point after 2 years of wait can cause a lot of jam as well. So.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it. I have a lot of my Malay friends like they didn't even want to go back home because they just didn't want to stand and sit in the jam for so long.
For so long. There was like I think Jalan Utara Selatan and also going to Pantai Timur as well.
Yeah.
The jam was so bad because like fortunately for me at that time during Raya, we didn't have to go through that process. I think me and my brother we sort of planned things out before we go, so everything was smooth sailing. Tapi sesiapa yang sekat kat jam tu, especially the ones because this year I think they had that shocking announcement.
Raya terkejut lah.
Raya terkejut kan. That's the theme of the year.
Yeah.
Terkejut. when that thing was announced, I think half of my cousins who were still stuck in the same traffic for 5 hours semua tu. So it's like, oh, it's painful.
I saw online also like some of these people, they have to wait for the ferry, right? So they actually celebrated Raya.
Kat ferry.
Kat ferry.
I mean, it's a unique thing.
Betul.
Boleh kan?
Boleh lah kan. Like something different, right?
Daripada pergi buat benda sama je. Now you going to meet new people kat ferry.
Yeah.
I just want me like I rasa macam like it's gonna be I think if I'm not mistaken there's gonna be a few years from now. It's I might be wrong about this, so don't quote me on this. So I think in the next 5-6 years or something like that, we're gonna be celebrating Chinese New Year and Hari Raya within the same either day or week.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting, but imagine the jam.
Correct. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Imagine how empty in Klang Valley would be.
But Malaysia will be so noisy and will be like such a fun time as well.
Oh, it's fun. It's gonna be fun. No doubt. It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Imagine the number of merchant that will be blasting everywhere. And they like the recent thing is that the Meriam. Did you see online and all this guys?
I saw it.
Exactly. Again, creativity. Malaysian creativity. When fun is there, we can get so creative.
But imagine all the cats yang takut mercun kan. They migrate to a different country.
Yeah. Next year they probably go to Singapore maybe.
No.
Sama juga. They're gonna be Thailand lah.
No. Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
That's gonna be man, dude, if that thing happens semua tu kan, I don't know what to do. But for those kids yang dapat duit ampau semua tu kan, I think they're gonna make more than I earn in a month tau.
True. Like after the raya, pergi member Cina punya rumah.
Tiba-tiba some kids starting to invest dekat property and tiba.
Wow. Yeah lah. I actually like the other day I was I looked up something online, right?
Right.
They say something about how duit raya dia kena meningkat sekarang, like the value they should be a bit more. I was like, why? Like what do kids need to buy actually? Like kita nak raya pun like got so many expenses and all that. These guys they just need to buy like sweets and all that. So it's quite like absurd lah, I feel, right? But I want to ask you a question, like from your point of view, right? Like what was the highest duit raya you ever received?
So basically based on my own salary, which I'm not going to be discussing, but so at first, initially, I would always give $5 to my niece and nephews. Not my cousins, but my niece and nephews, the ones who still tengah bersekolah lah. But there are some moments where I see my other cousins who are about my age, and I see the amount of money that they give. And when they started to macam patronize me lah, macam like, oh, awak bagi duit tu je, I have to increase for the sake of winning the argument tau.
Yeah.
But other people mungkin tak macam tu kau. But usually so the weird thing is for the Malay culture, usually for I think the Chinese culture, once you are married, then baru you distribute bagi duit ampau to the people kan. And if you're not married, you still can receive. But for the Malay culture, once you dah bekerja, you bagi terus tau. Doesn't matter you're single ke atau you're not, you still have to give. So that's a bit of why.
Why?
But it is how it is kan. So we just go with it je lah kan. But you feel proud of macam like, yes, I get to give something to my niece and nephews and
then they also will love you more. I mean, the higher the amount, the higher the number, they will love you higher.
At that time je lah.
But at that time je lah. That hour only lah.
That hour only lah. And then once they leave the house semua tu, they probably say some stuff about me lah.
Alah pakcik tu kan.
Dah lah tak ada rambut. Alright bro, again Sathish, thank you so much for having you to our show today.
Yeah.
And I think I have so much fun, talking about it's like a reminiscence of how we were when we were kids.
True. Me too. And thank you so much for having me as well.
I think in the future, if I think we might consider having you back again, bro. Again, thank you so much. And this is Sathish, and I'm Mirdza from Za TV, signing off.